Welcome to the 14th Annual Essence Black Women in Hollywood Awards. And now, straight from Bridgerton is the New Black, I present to you Lady Whistle-Up.
Wasn't that opening melody simply divine? She's one of 5 queens being honored tonight, members of our very own royal family. That was Lady Andra Day, who raised the royal temperature in her breakthrough portrayal of the very first Lady Day. And all agree that Lady Cynthia Erivo is a genius in her latest transformation into America's first queen. The Queen of Soul, that is. The royals all abuzz by Lady Michaela Cole's brilliant metamorphosis that is so delicious that, like my gossip, it may destroy you. Lady Zendaya's triumphant cinematic turns have left everyone in a state of euphoria. And I hear that our final queen of the evening, legendary Lady Whoopi, is being praised for her decades-long ability to give the arts a better view. Now that I've served all the piping hot tea, I'm off to find my royal hairdresser to loosen the lace on this royal unit. I bid you adieu.
She's an Emmy Award-winning actress and executive producer of the Netflix documentary Disclosure. Please welcome our Royal Highness Laverne Cox.
Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be the host of the 14th Annual Essence Black Women in Hollywood Awards. From its start, Essence has used this platform to celebrate the achievements of some of the most remarkable women on both stage and screen. Being a former Black Women in Hollywood Awards recipient myself, I know what an honor it is to be recognized by Essence. What we all know and love as the iconic magazine, and what has grown into so much more over the past 50 years. And each honoree tonight is so deserving. So obviously, there aren't hundreds of people here in the room with us. This year, it's a global pandemic, people. We know what's going on. But whether the room is full or waiting to be filled, Essence always does it big. And this year is no exception. The theme this year is mastering our stories. That's a powerful statement. So many of us, especially women of color, don't always have the opportunity to tell our stories, yet alone feel empowered enough to also own them. Brené Brown reminds us that when we deny our stories, they define us. But when we can own our stories, we can write a brave new ending. I can testify, honey, about how sweet and truly healing it can be to be in full ownership of every aspect of one's story. Our honorees tonight are providing a blueprint, a roadmap towards mastery, and they are writing brave new endings for us all. Tonight, Essence and I want you to know that your life, your voice, your story, and your journey matters. And now, I'm so excited to introduce 2 beautiful women who exemplify Black girl magic. Please welcome to the stage Essence Communications CEO Caroline Wonga and Chief Strategy and Engagement Officer LaTreviette Smith-Wilson.
Thank you, Laverne. Did you catch that wig, Trey?
That was everything.
Yeah, holla at your girl. I'll catch you later.
I wanted to borrow it.
I did it first.
No.
We'll talk about it later. Never mind.
She's just not getting it back. Okay.
For 50 years, Essence Communications has served Black women deeply, and we continue to do so by encouraging and equipping us to collectively operate in the full power of our lives, leading at the forefront of our lives, our homes, and more importantly, our communities. For more than 30 million Black women who call Essence home, this beloved cultural institution and cornerstone has protected, promoted, and personified sisterhood. A word that is often used so much that sometimes the core of what it really means loses impact. So tonight, what sisterhood is and what we believe is what we're reclaiming, and the sanctity of its purpose. It is so much more than women getting together and friends having brunch and squad vacations. And true sisterhood, whether it be about how it lives in culture, how it lives in equity, and how it lives in communities, is all about having each other's backs and sometimes our fronts, right, Trey?
All the time, my friend.
All the time, our fronts.
All around, 360.
What becomes important is that we are unrelenting and unapologetic in our encouragement of one another to live our very, very, very best lives. We show up at all times with just what we need to keep each other going, growing, and soaring, and sometimes surviving.
All the time. That's what we do, Caroline. Truer words never spoken, right? Sisterhood. Think about what has happened the past year.
Yeah.
How we have shown up for each other is what has gotten us through, and that's what will continue to get us through. It's who we are.
It's so much of who we are. And I think what becomes important here, Trey, is, and we've always been that for each other and always will.
Absolutely.
No matter who else wants to think about us differently.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You see, this sisterhood of Black women in Hollywood and everywhere is truly phenomenal. And together, we are unstoppable. When Essence first began Black Women in Hollywood 14 years ago, that was our foundation to build, set, and provide our own table so that the talent, creativity, and magic of the incomparable Black women in Hollywood and their contributions to global culture could be recognized, honored, and celebrated. When others have chosen to not see us, we have always seen each other, and we always will. We understand the importance of mastering our own stories. Why? Because we also understand the power of owning our narrative and the importance of real representation. That's why Essence makes sure that with everything we create, whether our iconic magazine covers, experiences, digital content, podcasts, videos, and so much more, that every element represents the fullness of who we are. Mothers, daughters, sisters, grandmothers, aunties. Caroline, do you think they would call us aunties? We're not aunties. We're the fun cousins that everyone wants at the cookout, right?
I nominate us funties.
Funties?
The fun aunties. That's what we are.
Can we be the fly fun aunties?
Oh, even better,
Okay.
fly funties.
So yes, the fly fun aunties, best friends, and you. Essence is a mirror that each of us can look into each day and see the beauty in our Blackness. And tonight, we are so very proud to recognize 5 Black women who bravely bear their truths and master our stories each time they share their gifts on stage and screen. Andra Day, Michaela Cole, Cynthia Erivo. I know I'm inspired. I'm actually over the moon. And Caroline, you have to be too.
I am inspired.
See? Okay.
I'm fully inspired. But what I also am is extremely clear that in addition to what we are celebrating tonight, there's what we're not. What we're not celebrating is a case where Black women are seen as charity or at any sort of deficit. Instead, we're talking about the power we use that impacts the world. And now, let's take a look at how we've celebrated Black women in Hollywood over the years.
This magazine really celebrates beauty in so many different ways.
Well, as a Black woman in America, Essence taught me how to be.
I'm always inspired, motivated, encouraged, uplifted every time I leave this luncheon.
It's Black women in Hollywood, but it's really, just an eye on those who have really paved the way in film.
In that first year in 2008 when we did it, outpouring of love that came out of that first event really let us know that Black women were starving for this recognition. It was time for us to celebrate them. They really wanted their friends to come together and really speak to the power of their presence on screen.
I mean, this room is really unlike any other in town.
There's so many wonderful women of color doing so many amazing things.
When they gather all of us together, the whole business and the whole country understands how much talent is present.
When you're here, you can learn so much from other women.
You want to get a little bit of that love and rub on it and take it back with you.
It is so incredibly supportive. Every year, somebody makes somebody cry.
I want to thank you, Essence, for honoring me with this Vanguard Award. I will cherish it for the rest of my days, just as I will cherish every single person in this room.
Thank you, Essence, for this event and for making us always feel special and loved and magic and most of all, important.
I've been working in the business for so long, and I swear this made me feel like I was 10 years old.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Alfre Woodard.
Miss Ava DuVernay.
Gugu Mbatha Raw.
Tracy Ellis Ross.
Regina King.
Continue, and by doing so, you and your work will be able to continue eternally.
Our first presenter ignited a global movement that gave women the courage to speak their truths, even when it was painful to say and sometimes to hear. She is a super shero to me who encourages each of us to tap into our own individual and collective resilience and to let every survivor know through the powerful words, "Me too," that they are not alone. Please welcome Tarana Burke.
Like most of the world, I was not ready for Michaela Coel. My introduction to her was via Chewing Gum, her irreverent, smart, and funny series that was unlike anything I'd seen before. I had wanted more of her wit, her talent, that brilliant mind. But we would have to wait some time to meet her again. And now we know why. Michaela's work is an offering that has allowed countless people to speak openly about sexual assault, autonomy, freedom, allyship, and ourselves. To confront our contradictions with honesty and conviction. I May Destroy You initially seems like a threat, a warning, but it is only when you realize that it is an invitation to create something new, if we are willing, that you see the fullness of Michaela's intervention. As many Black women know, we often have the unenviable task of becoming the very women that we needed at one time or another. And when we invite that kind of transformative calling into our lives, we find that it was ourselves we were freeing all along. To the world, Michaela Coel is an amazing actress, but to me, she is also a necessary voice. Now, let's take a look at why this millennial icon is so deserving of this prestigious Black Woman in Hollywood award.
I first became aware of Michaela. We both auditioned for and ended up going to Guildhall School of Music and Drama in London.
Michaela Coel first came on my radar when she used to do spoken word.
Watch my new life as his soul transcends. See this rebirth as his light descends. Renewed and newborn, I am born again. Amen. Praise God.
I first heard about Michaela in the Chewing Gum days.
I saw that and I was immediately obsessed with her, who is this such a funny person, but also just so much immediate depth that was so obvious and so singular.
Chewing Gum originally came from a very short solo piece.
And the BAFTA goes to Michaela Coel.
And then it became this like huge, BAFTA nominated, BAFTA winning kind of like juggernaut of a thing.
If there's anyone out there that looks a bit like me or just feels a little bit out of place trying to get into performing and all this kind of stuff, I'd just say, you are beautiful, embrace it. You are intelligent, embrace it. You are powerful, embrace it. Thank you.
I got to meet her, finally, when we worked together on Black Earth Rising. An extraordinary piece of TV. She is an actress. And I do believe this thing. Those who can do comedy can do tragedy. It's not necessarily easier the other way around.
Michaela's character, Arabella, in I May Destroy You, is a young Black woman figuring her way out in the world. She's a writer. She's on the cusp of finishing a second book, trying to get her life together. And in the midst of this whole thing, she experiences sexual assault and she experiences trauma.
I May Destroy You resonated with people because it was honest.
It's a radical act of personal revelation and healing. The way she deals with trauma is just a thing of beauty because it's so triumphant.
It's really hard to make something like that and to make it like extremely watchable and not just therapy is incredible.
Michaela's future will be dictated by her. It won't be dictated by anybody else. I think she just wants to have space and time to continue like developing her craft and sharing her encyclopedic library of thoughts.
And I think we're all going to be delighted to get to see it.
Massive congratulations, my friend Michaela Cole, on your Essence Black Women in Hollywood Award.
I love you, Michaela. Congratulations. Congratulations on everything.
Hopefully I'll see you soon after this whole COVID thing. I'm in London right now, so you gotta hit me up.
So thank you for everything you've done for me and sharing everything you have with the world.
This is Essence. This is fantastic. These women hold you up and say, keep going, fly on, fly on, fly on. I love
you. So, on behalf of anyone who has walked through the fire, for those who are still finding their way, but especially for those who couldn't, we thank you for stepping into the light for us, Michaela. It is my honor to present you with the Black Women in Hollywood Award.
Thank you so much, Essence, for this moment, to be honored and celebrated as a Black woman in Hollywood. The thing I have yet to reveal to Essence is that the time I spent in Hollywood itself amounts to 12 days over the course of my life. Sorry. So it seems fitting that I take this opportunity to talk about those 12 days and the Black women who gave those days meaning. The first was a 4-day trip. I had arrived to the Hollywood section of the Americas with severe jet lag and high hope to make a TV show. Chewing Gum Season 1 had just aired, and its small but strong success got me a seat at the table with executive producers from an American network to pitch a show. I had no pilot, no treatment, no document at all. I only had a piece of information. A few months beforehand, my drink was spiked and I had been sexually assaulted by strangers. And at that table, I told the exec producers that I wanted to make a comedy type thing about it. I knew, despite being unaware of my own shock and denial, that I would have to write about it in order to avoid dying from it. When I look back on that meeting, I think the executives deemed me unstable. Maybe the frantic, terrified eyes. Maybe because I had no treatment or pilot. Maybe they came to know that shortly after the meeting, I was found sleeping behind a truck on the premises. The jet lag was just too much and it was so hot. So I crouched down and slept on the ground. I don't know if I would make a show with me. To the sister who woke me up and got me a bottle of water, thank you. The second was a 4-day trip in 2017. I had a photo shoot. It was the first time both my hair and makeup had been done by Black women on a shoot, and I looked amazing. Navasha Johnson gave me the lace wig, and Tasha Brown told me that the orange blusher in the NARS palette was the only way to be free. By this time, I had struck up an Instagram friendship with Issa Rae. I had told her I was coming to the Americas and asked her to go on a date with me to Soul Quarious Music Festival. She agreed, assuming I was sane. I tried to lay that wig again for the festival, and it looked as awesome as Arabella's looks in I May Destroy You. I was so excited to be alive, to be there, to be with Issa, and the gin I was consuming was just a way of allowing any nervousness that came with that excitement to subside. Cynthia Erivo, a trusted friend and most seasoned expert to Hollywood, was trying to advise me how to act right, but I had no time for that. Then I lost concept of time altogether. I don't recall who I bought the weed muffin from. Neither do I recall things like music or performances at the festival. I only remember meeting Willow Smith, thinking, wow, she's so welcoming and nice. And why is the guitar on her back able to wave hello and smile at me? Issa, I suspect being around me might have been quite a traumatic experience. Thank you for still replying to my texts, because I don't know if I would. The third was a 2-day trip in 2018. I had now gotten through 5 or so drafts of the show we would come to know as I May Destroy You, and was eager to partner with people of Hollywood to make this show happen. I spent 2 euphoric days pitching the show to studio after studio and walking on a beach, because there's a beach near where people make TV in Hollywood, which is absolutely insane. My last meeting was with HBO and it was going really well. The exec producer asked me if I remembered her. I suddenly realized I had been here 2 years before with frantic, terrified eyes, where I was woken up, given water. I suddenly realized how much I had grown. The final trip was also in 2018. By now, my work in Chewing Gum, Black Mirror, and Black Earth Rising had allowed me access into a circle of Black women in Hollywood, none of whom were aware I was both unhinged and obsessed with them. I was doing small DMs with Lena Waithe, Bobby Humphrey, Zendaya, Gabrielle Union, Ari Lennox, Jada Pinkett. One day, Janelle Monáe DM'd me to say she'd planned a small friends-only private screening of Dirty Computer. It was that night and I was welcome to swing by. I decided not to tell her that I'd been to every single music concert of hers in England, that I'd had numerous dreams about meeting her, that I had to unfollow her on Facebook back in the day because I was beginning to dress and sing like her and I was losing my sense of self to her magic. I decided not to tell her that I wasn't actually in Hollywood so I couldn't swing by. I instead found a flight, booked a one-way ticket and went straight from the airport to the movie theater. I met Lena Waithe and we hugged as if we'd hugged 100 times before. I met Kelly Rowland, who knew my name and where in Africa I was from. That was so bizarre, I began to catch migraine. Then I finally met Janelle Monáe, and well, she was like water. She flowed to everyone in the room without having to do anything. She was everything. When she came to know of the circumstances by which I came, she insisted I spent the night in the house she was currently residing in with her entire Wonderland Music family. There was enough room for me. This is where my mind goes when I think of this honor, Essence. It goes to the Black women who breathed life into those 12 days. I am a visitor with no firm idea of when or how or where I'm going, that I'm just eager to be here. And I'm grateful for the invitation to sit down at your table, that I have been given room here, given water, warm welcomes, cuddles, loving emojis. There is only one thing to do with this honor. It is to honor you. Thank you.
Congratulations, Michaela, and thank you, Tarana, always, for those empowering words. Now it's time for a quick break. But coming up, we've got Zendaya, Whoopi, Cynthia Erivo, and another earth-shattering performance from Andra Day. It's all going down right here at the Essence Black Women in Hollywood Awards.
With our Ford Vanguard Award honoree, Cynthia Erivo. She is transforming the culture through intelligent, influential, and impactful storytelling. She is driving progress. And like our all-new Mustang Mach-E, she is electric, decidedly her own, and a force to be reckoned with. And to present this award, I would love to welcome award-winning director of Harriet, Casey Lemons.
Thank you, Essence, for inviting me to present the Black Women in Hollywood Vanguard Award, sponsored by Ford, to a talented young actress that I had the absolute privilege and pleasure of working with on the film Harriet. When I was entrusted with directing this historical biopic of our beloved Harriet Tubman, I knew that I, and the actress portraying this American icon, would have the great honor and daunting task of resurrecting Harriet's legacy while also bearing the culture on our shoulders. I came aboard the project after the lead role of Harriet Tubman had already been cast. I knew of and was excited about directing this amazing young actress from Britain who had graduated from the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts and had won a Tony, Emmy, and Grammy Award for her outstanding role as Celie in The Color Purple on Broadway. That performance to me proved that Cynthia Erivo understood and could speak the language of the plight of being a Black woman in America, even though she'd been raised in Europe. And from the moment she stepped on set, Cynthia fully captured, like one film critic said, the fury of Harriet Tubman's circumstances and the peace of her resolve. We were transported back in time when women in general had no rights, but Black women, in particular in America, were tethered to the inhumane cruelty of slavery, and they had, in the minds of many white slave owners, no right to live. And yet Cynthia Erivo brought Harriet Tubman's heroism and humanity to life. I felt the enormous weight of my ancestors calling to me through time to get this story right and set the record straight that Harriet Tubman was both a warrior and also a real woman, a daughter, a sister, and a wife, a saint and a soldier ready to die for what she believed in. I talked to Harriet in my mind, and I asked her for guidance. And I believe that Cynthia called on her ancestors too, and they took flight from the shores of Nigeria and anointed her with a spiritual and emotional essence, which allowed her to portray this brave and beloved freedom fighter from a community of enslaved West Africans in Maryland, weaving a history of slavery in America that began on the shores of Africa with Harriet Tubman's own African-American heritage. Cynthia Erivo embodied this historical heroine and created a beautiful cinematic tapestry that led her to 2 Oscar nominations in both the Best Actress and Best Original Song categories. In addition to her thespian roots, this amazing and versatile artist is also an executive producer and a staunch supporter of women's rights. And to add to her growing list of memorable performances, she's currently receiving more rave reviews for her powerhouse portrayal of America's Queen of Soul, the one and only and dearly missed Aretha Franklin. And now please join me in watching a clip that shows exactly why Cynthia Erivo is being called a genius.
Cynthia Erivo, she always comes to tell the story, no matter what. She's a storyteller.
I saw a Color Purple at the Minor Chocolate Factory. It's like a small stage in London. And I was just blown away, absolutely blown away. I was like, wow, this is a superstar.
I had a great experience working with Cynthia on The Color Purple.
This voice, it was so booming. She had such a presence, and I was like, who is this girl?
I specifically remember watching her and peeking through the curtains almost every night to watch her sing I'm Here. The fact that my friend was able to get an Emmy and Tony and a Grammy all in the same year for the same show, who does that?
It was an honor working with Cynthia on Harriet. The sisterhood that those 2 characters, Marie and Harriet, had on screen was so important to both of us.
Harriet was someone who was strong, who was courageous, who was fearless. Those things come from within. And Cynthia, as a woman and as a human being, very much has those same traits. Yes, she got the Oscar nomination, which is, kind of the icing on the cake, but Cynthia got every major acting award nomination for Harriet Tubman.
Cynthia and Aretha. Child, it's a remarkable performance. And coupled with that voice, honey, that voice, I just can't get enough.
She's really on her way to that EGOT.
You gotta know how great you are so you can navigate through life in the proper way. That's what Cynthia does. It's not ego, just fact.
She lives her truth, and she's unapologetically being herself, no matter what.
Cynthia has a light. I feel like she was born with this light, and how she uses her light makes her an icon.
Congratulations, my sister, Cynthia Erivo, on your Essence Black Woman in Hollywood Award.
You deserve this moment, and I am so grateful that I get to tell you myself.
Thank you for your gift, and thank you for sharing your gift with us. And appreciate you, man. Mad love.
I'm sending you big hugs and big kisses.
That undeniable voice, that rich, powerful, Black voice is me and my generation's dream come true.
You matter, and whatever your heart desires, I want that for you. Thrive, sis. I love you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Essence Black Women in Hollywood Vanguard Award recipient, presented by Ford, Cynthia Erivo.
When I sat to write this, I honestly didn't know where to begin. Maybe because I was overwhelmed by the magnitude and meaning of this award. Maybe because in this moment, watching dreams become a reality is, well, a reality. Or maybe it's because of the feeling that comes when you look around and you see your melanated divine family, and yes, I think of you as family, celebrating not just the work you do, but the very skin you are in while you do it. I've often been too shy to thank God in front of people on a stage, but I think that this is the moment that shyness goes away. I thank God that this publication, Essence, has been a life raft for us when everyone else would rather see Black women drown. That the pages of Essence have been wings that tell us to soar when others would rather see us fall. I think of the incredible women who have come before me, and the ceilings, doors, walls, in fact, the entire buildings these women have broken through and rebuilt almost with no help. They have laid the groundwork. They have left the example. They have created the blueprint from which I am honored to follow direction. I am a 5'1", brown-skinned, gap-toothed woman with a shaved head who was single-handedly raised against impossible odds by an immigrant mother who was born in a Nigerian village. That wonderful woman made a choice to leave her home for something more. If not for her and her tenacity, I would not be standing in front of you today. With that knowledge, I'm aware of the responsibility of being not just my mother's wildest dreams, but my ancestors' wildest dreams. I am deeply conscious of the fact that being where I am is an impossibility and a privilege, one that I'm amazed by every single day. You see, when I left the UK 6 years ago, I cried big, hot tears. I cried because I thought I was leaving my home. I was scared because I thought I'd be alone. I didn't realize that I would be lucky enough to gain a new home. And when I say home, I do not speak of the four walls and the roofs that house us. No, not at all. I speak of the home that reaches inside your heart and fuses itself to your soul, the type of home that calls you up at the worst of times and says, I was thinking about you, sis. How you doing? Because somehow, we always know. The type of home that texts you two simple words, sing, sis, and you automatically know you've done well. The type of home that can look at you from across a crowded room and with a shift of the eye, a purse of the lips, a nod of the head, you know immediately what is being said. The kind of home that hugs you with such love that both of you rock side to side. The I love yous and the I'm proud of yous. Home is the space between the open arms of every Black woman I have had the privilege of encountering, especially here at this event, here at Essence. Alice Walker said, I am an expression of the divine, just like a peach is. Just like a fish is. I have a right to be this way. I can't apologize for that, nor can I change it, nor do I want to. We will never have to be other than who we are in order to be successful. We realize that we are as ourselves unlimited and our experiences valid. It is for the rest of the world to recognize if they choose. Now, I do not profess to be a scribe of the same caliber as the great Miss Alice Walker, but I feel compelled to add this small addendum, and that is that if the rest of the world chooses not to recognize our brilliance, our divinity, it is not a thing to chase, because here, at home, at Essence, you are not only recognized, you are seen, and you are celebrated. And I thank you, Essence, for seeing and celebrating me.
Andra, you better sing, girl. That was so beautiful. That was incredible. Thank you so much. We have had an incredible time tonight, and I just want to thank Essence for inviting me to host this year's Black Women in Hollywood Awards. This moment means so very much to me and to all of our sisters everywhere. Thank you, Essence. I love you. I also want to thank our amazing sponsors, Ford, American Airlines, L'Oreal, and Coca-Cola. Now, it's time to say goodnight. But before we go, don't forget to set your alarms for the Hollywood House premiere tomorrow. For more information, go to essence.com. See you again soon. Until then, stay in the love.